Scott, we might as well start calling the 2020 Hog baseball team the Comeback Kings, because 3 of the 4 games they've managed to do just that. What did you think of their way and just fight in the 9th inning of yesterday's ball game?
Well, I think that shows you that they are more of a complete team rather than just being a pitching-heavy team who's going to shut everybody out. We score 1 run, we're going to win. They show a lot of spirit, and they show a lot of grit, and they show a lot of togetherness. And I read a couple of quotes that said, we never doubted. We're on each other's back, and we got this. Let's get up there and get a couple of base runners. This is a fun team to watch because you're never really out of the game. I think they've got more firepower at the plate than what they've shown. And it's pitching is always ahead early in the season, but they'll catch up.
Scott, I wonder from your perspective, and I know that you didn't play in Bob Walker, but you've definitely experienced the game. You've seen how that atmosphere is detrimental to opposing teams when they come in, because they're just kind of in a shock that many people can be in a ballpark. A little over 4,000 this year will be in attendance for games that are sold out. How much of an impact is an unfull stadium in Bob Walker going to have on this team relative to years past, you think?
I think it affects hitters more than it does pitchers.
Okay.
Personally, I like to pitch in a quiet place, because when you get on the mound, it's really funny. You step across the lines and everything just kind of goes quiet. You get away from the bleachers where people, you can see their faces and hear them ragging you and what have you. But once you step across the lines, everything just kind of turns into a hum. You kind of lock into exactly what you're doing. You got a little round spot of dirt that's yours, and then you're throwing to that little spot of dirt up there, and that's what you concentrate on. So pitching, I don't think it will affect it as much, our guys, as the noise will the other guys, the guys on the other side. Even going on the road, I like to pitch when it's quiet, and if you were doing well, then everything was quiet. But if you're not, it can get a little bit noisy.
Scott, this is Clay. I know you've seen Caden Wallace before he got to Fayetteville, but his at-bat in the 9th inning, it was like 15 pitches or something.
Yeah,
he got a walk. What does that say about him, and what do you expect his career to be like at Arkansas? Because he hadn't really hit yet.
He shows great eye discipline, which is unique in a young hitter. If you haven't seen him play, you don't know what kind of pop he has, but you can hear from everybody you hear and everything you read, you know he's got a lot of pop in his back, can go to all fields. I saw him here in high school when he was a sophomore, and goodness gracious, it was off the charts even then. I think he's going to grow into that kind of hitter that everybody, the McReynolds type of hitter, the Johnny Ray type of hitter, guys that I played with that were just, they just did everything right. But even then, they're going to fail 3 out of 4 times, 2 out of 3 times, and be a 300 hitter. I think he's going to be fantastic. And the fact that he can foul pitches off that he can't really put into play, and then he works a guy to get a walk at a crucial time when you need a base runner. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
I know that Jackson Wiggins probably remind you of yourself as a freshman.
A lot of people say that.
220.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I've shrunk a little.
The guy's a monster, Scott.
Right. And a physical presence on the mound, when you're that tall and as a hitter, and they're up on the bump a little bit, so they're even bigger, and the pitches are coming a little bit more downhill than what you're looking at. And there's that little thing of coming up at 98 miles an hour, something that 99.9% of the kids in college never see. They do it on a video game and they can't hit it. Those are things that we haven't seen. 98 is really, really bringing it. That's just bringing it. That's stuff that you just don't see very often. And he's got secondary pitches.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got secondary pitches. And so in secondary pitches, a lot of people don't realize. They go, why would you ever throw a changeup if you're throwing it 98? Why would you throw a slider if you're throwing it 98? Because even if you don't throw it for a strike, it causes that little bit of hesitation in the batter's eye. Is he's going to throw a changeup here? He's going to throw a changeup. Oh, it's fastball. Because on a good fastball, you got to make a decision really quick. And if there's that little bit of hesitation, it just gets by you. So that's what makes those other pitches effective. It's not really fair
to follow a 98 fastball with an 87 changeup that falls to your ankles, right?
I know. That's just I can't even wrap my head around that. I want to see him in person. I'd like to see him on TV, but I'd love to see him in person. You can hear a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And sometimes that's what the hitters are hearing. They go, that sounded like a strike, because I didn't really see it, but it sounded like a strike. So it's and the glove makes a different sound when the ball hits it coming that fast, kind of like a golf ball coming off your driver, Clay. It's just a different sound.
Yeah, you just hope you don't get caught up in the vacuum as the swing speed comes through. You don't stand behind Clay for that reason. Speaking of swing speed, I mean, you look at Arkansas where they've been at the plate, Scott, and is there any concern? 14 strikeouts in their first game against Texas Tech, then 9 in the second, 13 against TCU, 13 against yesterday. Right. That's 49 strikeouts in 4 ball games. I mean, as in love as we are with that number 2 ranking on the potential of this team, how concerned, or are you concerned at all about that number of strikeouts at the plate so far for the Razorback hitters?
Well, this early in the season, I don't think you really should be concerned about anything unless everybody has struck out and you hadn't had a pitcher throw a strike yet. Then you'd have concern. Or the bus breaks down every time you go to the park. Then you'd have concern. There's just so many moving parts in baseball that take a while to get ramped up. You can hit the cage every day. You can hit off the tee every day. You can take live batting practice every day. It's just different when you get in a game and you have a guy out there who's got, like the kid yesterday, the starter. Every team's got some studs. There are so many arms available to all teams now, but because of the COVID, for one thing, everybody's came back. And so you have a logjam of really, really good arms that had nowhere to go. So everybody's going to have some studs. And if you can't hit, pitchers throwing in the mid-90s, in Division I baseball, you're going to have a tough time. So I think you're going to see a lot of pitching-dominated games this year, early especially, until hitters start to catch up a little bit and get used to getting back in the groove of hitting live pitching. So the concern is there, just because if you're not putting the ball in play, it just makes it tough. You don't make the other guys move around, give them a chance to boot a ball or even hit a flare over the second baseman's head. You don't get a good swing, but you still get a base hit. It's a little bit, you kind of cock your head at it a little bit, but I wouldn't be too concerned.
Scott Tabor, former pitcher, 1979 College World Series team for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Scott, we enjoy our Fridays at always at 8 o'clock, and we'll do this thing next Friday as well, my man.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I always enjoy it. Talk to you guys next week.